morning, you guys. I recognize they put me up first. Maybe they knew that I was a guy that was going to be a bit loud, and they needed to wake some people up. But that's the energy that I generally bring. So let me just start off giving you a little bit of my background. I was a guy who grew up as, well, first of all, you know, I've known as Pastor Fury. I was ordained in the church that I was spiritually formed in 2012, and that was right around the time when the Avengers hit the screen, right? So it was like, oh, Nick Fury, Pastor Fury, let's go. So that is kind of commonly how I've been known, but my story really begins back, I think, around 1986, where some of the initial real formation in me was happening as I was this young black kid who moved to an all-white suburb, an all-white Dutch village in the south suburbs of Chicago. And that was difficult, you guys. Like the racial tension of that, and at that time, my parents were getting divorced, so there was so much of me that was passionately looking for acceptance, looking for home, looking for belonging, and finding a lot of that missing. And I was going through this journey of constantly reshaping who I was, kind of, you know, doing the thing that I thought people wanted me to do. I would be a different person in every conversation I was because I wanted to be loved. I was looking for belonging. And that took me to some really dark places. How many of you guys know about that story a bit? Took me to some really dark places, and I went through a story of drinking, womanizing. God blessed me with my wife while still lost, and I cheated on her, and I was lost, y'all. Significantly lost and broken man until I turned 30, and I realized I was looking at who I had become, and I'm like, this is not the guy that was brought up in a United Methodist church on the south side of Chicago. Who have I become? And that was when the Lord stepped in and grabbed a hold of my heart. And he was showing me that you've got a place. You've got a people. You've got me. You belong with me. And he adopted me in to the family. And I was discovering what real family, what real belonging, what real home was like. And then I became passionate about trying to help others experience the same. And I found a church in our area. And I was living in Lake County, Illinois at the time. Once again, still in a more predominantly white context. But I'm used to that. Yeah, like y'all, I'm used to that. It's okay. We cool. But I was recognizing, though, as I was being spiritually formed there, that there were things that we weren't on the same page necessarily culturally. And I didn't realize that as I was going through the process of learning how to be a Christian and what God was really calling the church to be, that there were different things that he was calling me to in that weren't necessarily fitting that mold. And there was a time when the church was also discovering its identity, and they were like, you know, we need to go full bore after the largest amount of people we can in this community. And for them, it was like, this is our target audience. We called it Unchurched Charlie, right? And they had the whole picture painted of who that person was. And you guys, it wasn't a person that looked like me, that did things like I do, it wasn't a person in the socioeconomic background that I was kind of attached to emotionally, and I didn't even realize that, actually. I didn't realize I had a heart for the poor until actually we went and they sent me as a campus pastor to this really affluent area in Lake County. I was like, yes, let's go. I want to plant a church. And I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't realize till right now, like, I have a burden for people who are like on the margins of life. And so my journey in that season was praying that God would give me a heart for those folks right there. But that was the beginning of him planting a seed in me that one day there'd be a church that he was going to actually send me out to plant. And so what did I do? I went to my first exponential conference. So in 2015, that began me on this journey of like trying to discover what that church was. What was the vision that the Lord put in my heart? And you guys, I got excited. I got pumped. I felt like the Lord put on my heart that there were going to be 25 churches by 2025 that were going to come out of me. And I'm like, yo, I don't know how to plant one church. Like, what are you talking about? Dave Ferguson's like, write it down. And I'm like, okay. So you guys, I've got this passion, I've got this vision, and I've got no idea what I'm doing. But I've got a people that I'm still called to love and serve. And I felt like in that season, the Lord was like, hey, will you trust me to prepare you for this thing while you faithfully love and serve those that I've called you to? And I was like, yes, I will. So I put that up on the shelf, and I got back to work loving and serving those folks. And then things were like quickly, rapidly moving. We went from being a church plant that didn't have a location to then getting a building. I came full time, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. 2018, go on a sabbatical. The Lord's like, boom, it's time. I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought we were good now. Like, I had put that thing away, but he took it down off the shelf, and he said, it is time. And there's more. Like, that was the thing he put in my heart. There is more of who I am, of who the church can be, and of what I've called you to. And you guys, it was like I think somebody mentioned it yesterday, but that scene from The Matrix. You know, when there's the pills that you're offered, and I don't even know which one. Is it the blue pill? The one that opens your eyes and you're like, you can't go. The red pill? Red pill. Yo, I took the red pill. I showed up to the first staff meeting after sabbatical, and I was like, what are we doing? I was so like, it was an out-of-body experience, and I didn't know what to do. And that began a conversation with my pastor about sending me to go chase after what this mission was that God put in my heart. But I knew at its core, it was going to be something that was altogether different, something that was embracing an out-of-the-box understanding of who our God is and who the church is, and really calling out of each and every one of the believers the calling that he put in them. And I first needed to do that work for myself. So I began a journey. And you guys, I didn't know if I was going to share this, but I was so passionate about chasing after the marginalized. I was so passionate about being on mission for the poor and rediscovering the heart of church. But I didn't realize it. I'm fast forwarding now, you guys. I didn't realize it until about a month ago when I filled out the application to be here and I got accepted to be here, that I'd actually taken the bait. And I began to pine for so many of the things that the world is after. Like when I got the application, I was recommended for this. I was like, yes, let's go. And I filled it out, and I was like, yes. The grant, I want the podcast. I want to be in the magazine. And you guys, it wasn't for all of the right reasons, and I didn't realize it until I got accepted. And I'm telling my wife, yo, I'm going. And y'all don't know this, but like my wife, and this is going to be a red flag, so you can go ahead, get ready. But my wife, after I got saved, I've still been every day since then praying that she will as well. But y'all, she has been the voice of God to me in so many times. I was just reading in Numbers 22 last night. Like, and not intentionally, I'm in the McShane reading plan. And like God said, okay, here's what it is today. Balaam on the donkey. And like my wife in that moment's like, so you're going chasing after money? You're going chasing after fame and notoriety? And it wasn't that there was something wrong with going, right? If you remember the story in Numbers 22, Balaam still goes. But it was, where's your heart? Where's your heart? Is your heart submitted? So like there was an about face in that moment, and I realized, hypocrisy, self-righteousness. So I just thought, hey, I only got 10 minutes. I don't know when I'm ever going to talk to any of y'all again. I just thought, this is my secret sauce, being as real as I can and being as vulnerable. And I want to encourage any of you guys right now. We're in this room talking about innovations in the church, talking about being the future. We're on the tip of the spear of what God wants to do in a world of darkness. We can't go as darkness. So we need to recognize anything that's in our heart as we're going. And like if the grant comes, like there's so many great things that we want to do in our community. And I haven't even talked about our church at all. But like we're a lot like the Underground Network. I love my brother Rob Wegner here and what he's doing in KC Underground. But the Unshackled Network recognizes that we not only want to rediscover the heart of church, but we want to release the imagination of the priesthood and then reach into the margins of life.